The next presentation of the first model will be more closely related to types and sources of military pollutants, including the environmental challenges. Military activities contribute significantly to environmental pollution through various types of pollutants, primarily affecting soil, air, and water. The sources of these pollutants can be categorized into several key areas. First are soil pollutants, because the use of explosives such as TNT, HMX, or RDX during different military operations leads to soil contamination. These nitroaromatic compounds are highly toxic and persistent in the environment. Military training areas and battlefields often contain high levels of heavy metals like lead, arsenic, or zinc due to the accumulation of spent ammunition and other weaponry. For instance, lead concentrations in shooting ranges can exceed regulatory levels by significant margins. Also, weapons made with depleted uranium release radioactive dust upon impact, contributing to long-term soil contamination. This material possesses risks due to its toxicity and radioactivity. Historical use of chemical agents like Agent Orange has left residues in soils that are highly toxic and can persist for decades, posing risks to human health through the food chain. Military actions significantly impact soil health and environmental integrity through various mechanisms, leading to both immediate or long-term consequences. So, military activities cause physical disturbance to the soil, including soil compaction, excavation and construction activities, cratering from explosions, or chemical contaminations. The movement of heavy military equipment compresses soil, altering its structure and hydraulic properties, which can hinder water infiltration and root growth. Also, excavation and construction activities such as trench digging and the building of fortifications disrupt natural soil layers, potentially leading to erosion and loss of topsoil. Bomb detonations displace large volumes of soil, mixing different horizons and leaving behind contaminated debris. Chemical contamination from munitions introduce various toxic elements into the soil with high risks to both human health and local ecosystems. Military actions also disrupt the biological balance within soils. So, soil compaction and chemical contamination can alter microbial populations, affecting nutrient cycling and organic matter decomposition. Contaminated soils may hinder plant growth, leading to reduced biodiversity and altered habitats. So, the environmental impacts of military actions extend beyond immediate effects. Areas affected by military activities often suffer from long-term degradation, making them less suitable for agriculture or natural habitats. This can threaten food security and local livelihoods. After conflicts, the clearance of landmines and unexploded weaponry can further degrade soil quality, complicating restoration efforts. The second category of pollutants are air pollutants, because military operations release various air pollutants, including heavy metals, toxic gases, particulate matter, fossil fuel emissions. Emissions from military activities often include metals such as lead or mercury, primarily from weapon residues and ammunitions. Activities involving explosives can release toxic gases, including dioxins and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are harmful to human health. The combustion of fuels and explosives generates fine particles that can penetrate deep into the respiratory system, causing respiratory diseases. Also, fossil fuel emissions contribute to air pollution globally. Some sources of air pollution could be military bases, explosive testing, or fuel combustion. Operations on bases often involve the use of heavy machinery, vehicles, and aircraft that emit pollutants. Detonations release a variety of harmful substances into the atmosphere. Also, the burning of fossil fuels for vehicles and generators contributes significantly to air pollution. Direct air pollution from military actions includes greenhouse gas emissions due to the release substantial amounts of carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, hydrocarbons, and sulfur dioxide, in addition to carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Military actions cause resource extraction and land degradation. The destruction of forests and natural habitats during conflicts releases stored carbon into the atmosphere, compounding the effects on global warming. The air pollution resulting from military actions has direct implications for public health. Increased rates of respiratory illnesses among both military personnel and local populations highlight the urgent need for addressing these environmental impacts as part of broader health initiatives in conflict-affected regions. So there are ongoing risks to public health and climate stability. The third category of pollutants are water pollutants. Water pollution on military bases is a critical issue due to several factors. Toxic runoff include heavy metals and chemical residues from contaminated soils. The storage and transportation of fuels and chemicals can lead to spills and leaks that contaminate water sources. Some explosive residues during training exercise can introduce toxic substances into nearby water bodies. Radioactive waste from production and testing of nuclear weapons also can contaminate water bodies. Sewage and waste disposal also can contaminate water because improper disposal of sewage from military facilities can introduce pathogens and organic waste into water systems. Types of water pollutants could be pathogenic microorganisms, toxic chemicals, or nutrients. Sewage can introduce harmful bacteria and viruses into drinking water supplies. Toxic chemicals include heavy metals from ammunition, as well as industrial chemicals that may leach into groundwater. Excessive fertilizers used in base landscaping can lead to nutrient runoff, causing eutrophication in nearby water bodies. Direct contamination of water sources could be produced by military operations because military operations frequently lead to direct contamination of water sources by toxic chemicals into the soil and waterways. For instance, lead from bullets can leach into groundwater, adversely affecting both aquatic life and human health. Chemicals can persist in the environment long after hostilities cease, leading to chronic contamination of groundwater and surface waters. Communities affected by military conflicts often face long-term health issues related to contaminated water supplies. The presence of toxic substances in drinking water can lead to serious health problems for local populations, including increased rates of cancer and other chronic diseases. Armed conflicts not only devastate human lives, but also lead to significant ecological degradation, which can have long-lasting consequences for both wildlife and communities. Military actions often result in direct destruction of habitats. The movement of troops and equipment can also lead to soil erosion and deforestation, severely impacting local flora and fauna. Conflict zones often see a rise in poaching as soldiers and Displaced populations resort to hunting for food. This has led to significant declines in species such as elephants and gorillas, as documented during various conflicts in Africa. The ecological ramifications of warfare can persist long after the conflicts end. Areas heavily impacted by military activities may experience reduced biodiversity due to habitat loss and pollution. The environmental degradation caused by military actions poses significant health risks to local populations. Contaminated water sources can lead to outbreaks of diseases, while exposure to toxic chemicals from warfare can result in chronic health issues among both soldiers and civilians. Monitoring and addressing these health risks remain critical challenges in post-conflict recovery efforts. Also, war disrupts agricultural systems, leading to food shortages. The destruction of farmland diminishes local food production capabilities. Military conflicts often force people to flee their homes, leading to increased urbanization in areas ill-equipped to handle sudden population surges. This displacement can strain resources in host communities, leading to further environmental degradation as new population exploits local resources for survival. Thank you for your attention.